Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Jury's World. I am Jurimani here. Today I am going to explain you the one-act play, the Browning version. Here the writer is Terence Rattigan. Terence here in this one-act play. This is a script from the Browning version. And the scene is set in a school. Here Frank is a young and Coker Harris middle-aged, both are masters. Taplo is a boy of 16 who has come to do an extra work for Coker Harris. But the letter has not yet arrived and Frank finds Taplo waiting. So let's see the play. Frank, do I know you? So from these lines we come to know that in this one-act play, the Browning versions, the writer Terence Rattigan presents two contrasting school teachers. One is Mr. Frank and other is Mr. Coker Harris. They are different in age, temperament and devotion to their profession. And Frank is a young and more social, while Mr. Coker Harris is middle-aged and reserved. And in the course of time, we will come to know that Frank lacks involvement and devotion, and Coker Harris is feared as a heartless master. So it also describes the reaction of the Taplo, students of Mr. Coker Harris towards his teacher. So let's see. Frank, the young teacher, do I know you? Taplo, no sir. Frank, what's your name? Taplo. Taplo's. Frank, Taplo, no I do not. You are not a scientist, I gather. Taplo, no sir. I am still in the lower fifth. I can't specialized until next term. That is to say, if I have got my remove, all right. Here remove means promotion, okay? Frank, don't you know if you have got your remove? Taplo, no sir. Mr. Coker Harris does not tell us the result like the other masters. Why not? Well, you know what he is like, sir. Frank, I believe there is a rule that form results should only be announced by the headmaster on the last day of the term. Taplo, yes, but who else pays attention to it except Mr. Coker Harris? Frank, I do not admit, but that is no criterion. So you have got to wait until tomorrow to know your fate. Have you? Taplo, yes, sir. Frank, supposing the answer is favorable, what then? Oh, science? Sir, of course. Frank, sadly. Yes, we get all the slackers. Taplo, protestingly. I am extremely interested in science, sir. Frank, are you? I am not. Not at least in the science I have to teach. Well, anyway, sir, it is good deal more exciting than this mark, indicating his book. What is this mark? Aeschylus, sir. Agamemnon. So Aeschylus, what is Agamemnon? This is actually, this reference is taken from Robert Browning's translation of his Greek tragedy Agamemnon. So there is a character called Aeschylus, and in the course of time I will tell you that in that play, the play was written by Greek dramatist Aeschylus as Mark Agamemnon is, and on that book we found that He considers science much more exciting and interesting than literature. And here, Toplo also is extremely interested in science and does not like literature. And your consideration view is that Agamemnon is muck. Well, no, sir. I do not think the play is muck. Exactly. I suppose in a way it is rather a good plot. Really? A wife murdering her husband and all that. I only mean the way it's taught to us. Just a lot of Greek words strung together and 50 lines if you get them wrong. Frank, you sound a little bitter. Taplo, I am reader, sir. Captain, no, sir, extra work. Extra work on the last day of the school. Taplo, yes, sir. I might be playing golf. You think he would have enough to do anything himself, considering he will leaving tomorrow for good. But oh no, I missed a day last week when I was ill. So here I am. And look at the weather, sir. Frank, bad luck. Still, there is one comfort. You are pretty well certain to get your removed tomorrow for being a good boy in taking extra work. Taplo, well, I am not so sure, sir. That would be true of the ordinary masters, all right. They just won't dare not to give a chef a remove after he's taking extra work. But those sort of rules do not play to the croaker Harris. I asked him yesterday outright if he'd given me a remove, and do you know what he said, sir? No, what? Emitting a very gentle, rather throaty voice. My dear Tuplo, I have given you exactly what you deserve, no less and certainly no more. Do you know, sir? I think he may have marked me down rather than up for taking extra work. I mean, the man's hardly human. He breaks off quickly. Sorry, sir. Have I gone too far? Yes, much too far. Sorry, sir. I got carried away. Evidently, he picked up a newspaper and opened it. At the blue. Yes, sir. What was the croaker Harry said to you? Just repeat it, would you? Imitating again, my dear Tuplo, I have given you exactly what you deserve, no less and certainly no more. Frank, looking severe. Not in the least like him. Read your nice Aeschylus and be quiet. Tuplo with dislike. Aeschylus. Frank, look, what time did Mr. Croaker Harris tell you to be here? 6:30, sir. Well, he has been 10 minutes late. Why don't you cut? You could still play golf before lockup. Real chalk. Oh, no, I could not cut. But the crook, Mr. Croaker Harris, I should not think it has ever been done in the whole time he has been here. God knows what would happen if I did. You'd probably follow me home or something. Frank, I must admit, I envy him. The effect he seems to have on you boys in the form. You all seem scared to death of him. What does he do? Beat you all or something? Good Lord, no. He is not a sadist like one or two of the others. I beg your pardon? A sadist, sir, is someone who gets pleasure out of giving pain. Indeed. But I think you went on to say that some other masters? Taplo, well, of course, they are, sir. I won't mention names, but you know them as well as I do. Of course, I know most masters think we boys don't understand a thing. But, sir, you are different. You are young, well, and comparatively anyway. And your science You must know what sadism is. Frank, after a pause. Good Lord, what are our schools coming to? Anyway, the crook is not a sadist. That is what I am saying. He would be so frightening if he were, because at least it would show he had some feelings, but he has not. He has all shriveled up inside like a nut, and he seems to hate people to like him. It's funny that I do not know any other master who does not like being liked. Frank, and I do not know any boy who does not use that for his own purpose. Well, it is not natural. It's natural, sir, but not with the crook. Mr. Croker Harris? Mr. Croker Harris, the funny thing is that in spite of everything, I do rather like him. I can't help it. And sometimes I think he sees it and that seems to shrivel him up even more. Frank, I'm sure you are exaggerating. Taplo, no sir, I'm not. Informed the other day, he made one of his classical jokes. Of course, nobody laughed because nobody understood it, myself included. Still, I knew he would mean it as funny, so I laughed, but out of ordinary common politeness and feeling a bit sorry for him for having made a poor joke. Now I can't remember what the joke was, but suppose I make it. Now you laugh, sir. Taplo. In a gentle, throaty voice, Taplo, you laughed at my little joke. I notice. I must confess that I am pleased at the advance. Your Latin has made since you so readily have understood what the rest of the form did not. Perhaps now you would be good enough to explain it to, it to them so that they can share your pleasure. The door upright is pushed open and Millie Cracker Harris enters. She's a thin woman in her late 30s, rather more smartly dressed than the general run of schoolmasters' wives. She is wearing a cap and carries a shopping basket. She closes the door and then stands by the screen, watching Taplo and Frank. It is a few seconds before they notice her. Frank, come along, Taplo. Move slowly above the desk. Do not be so selfish as to keep a good joke to yourself. Tell the others. He breaks off suddenly and noticing Millie. Oh, Lord. Frank turns quickly and seems infinitely relieved at seeing Millie. Frank, oh, hello. Millie, without expressions, hello. She comes down to the sideboard and puts her basket on it, moving to the left of the Frank, whispering frantically, do you think she heard? Frank shakes his head comfortingly. Millie asks of her cap and hangs it on the hall stand. I think she did. She was standing there quite a time. Taplo. If she did, and she tells him, there goes many remove. Nonsense. He crosses to the fireplace. Mary takes the basket from the sideboard, moves above the table and puts the basket on it. Taplo moving up to the left of Frank, whispering frantically, do you think she heard? Again Millie to Taplo, waiting for my husband. Taplo moving down left of the table. Yes. He is at the Borsars and might be there quite a time. If I were you, I would do go. Thoughtfully. She said most particularly I was to come. Well, why don't you run away for a quarter of an hour and come back? She unpacked some things from the basket. Supposing gets here before me. Millie smiling. I will take the blame. He takes a prescription. She takes a prescription out of the basket. I tell you what, you can do a job for him. Take this prescription to the chemist and get it made up. All right, Mrs. Crocker Hayes. He crosses towards the door upright. So the Browning version by Terence Rattigan is a one-act play where the writer Terence Rattigan's tried to represent the hidden rivalry among teachers actually. And he also describes here the reaction of tableau students of Mr. Crocker Harris towards his teacher. So, as we have seen that both the Frank, a young colleague of Mr. Harris, and both of them are different in their age, temperament, and devotion to their professions actually. Frank is young and more social, and Harris is a middle-aged teacher, and he is very reserved. And in the course of this play, we have found Frank lacks involvement and devotion, but Crocker Harris is feared as a hard task master. And Tableau, he is a 16 years old boy, and both the teachers provide a striking contrast. And both they have only one thing in common, they belong to the same school. Actually, young Frank is quite open to his students and he does not keep any distance while dealing with them. And even Tableau is not a student of his class, but still he takes a lot of interest in him. And from this one-act play, from his long conversation with Tableau, reveals his open nature. And on the other hand, Mr. Crocker Harris is quite reserved. He doesn't mix up with students. He maintains a respectful distance with students. Frank doesn't believe in observing formalities actually. He cares little regarding rules and regulations. In the other hand, Mr. Crocker Harris follow them very strictly. And so, in this regard, he is different from other teachers. He also, Mr. Crocker Harris never leaks out results till they are formally announced. In the course of this play, we have seen Mr. Crocker Harris is feared and even respected. He has a wonderful hold over his students. And they scared for him. Frank admits that he is envious of Mr. Crocker Harris. Perhaps he lacks that effect which Harris has left over his students. And Frank encourages Tableau to criticize Crocker Harris, and he urges him to imitate Harris. And from this we also clearly reveals the working of his mind. He lacks Harris' devotion actually. He teaches science but shows no interest in his subject, and this shows his lack of dedication and commitment towards his profession. Tableau says that Crocker Harris is shriveled inside like a nut. It is quite true. He is not open actually. He doesn't like flattery. Nor does he likes anyone who liked him. He is a hard taskmaster and he gives extra work to Tableau even on the last day of the school. And this he does to punish Tableau for being absent for a day in the last week. And sometimes he cracks jokes, and his classical jokes lack humor and no one understands them exactly. They are as dry and humorless as he himself is. At last of this play, we found Millie Coker. Millie Coker is the wife of Croker Harris. She's a teen woman of her late 30s, and she's rather more smartly dressed than the general run of schoolmasters' wives. Both Frank and Taplow feel her presence, and Taplow feels uneasy, and he fears that perhaps she heard him talking ill of Mr. Harris. She sent Taplow to the chemist, and she agrees to take the blame on her in case Mr. Croker Harris come in Taplow's absence. So this is all about the play Browning version. So here we have found the teacher Croker Harris is very strict. Actually, he himself follows all the rules very strictly. So it is very difficult to read his mind. So when Taplow asks him if he has given him a promotion, to what Mr. Harris sounds tells that Taplow that he has given him exactly what he deserved, no less and certainly no more. So these are some of the reasons why all the students seem scared to death of him. And Mr. Frank even feel envious of the effect of Mr. Harris on the boys in the class, actually. So we have found here Taplow's attitude towards Croker Harris is quite mixed in, and he also recognized Mr. Harris' sense of responsibility, discipline, devotion. He can understand. And even we have found that he feels that Mr. Harris is feeling less like no one can flatter him. Actually, he is strict and can never be flattered. And in spite of everything, Taplow, rather like his other students, liked him. Perhaps they can't help liking him because of his discipline and all other natures. So we have found here that Mr. Harris has a wonderful effect on the boys. So the boys seem scared to death of him. This is all about this Warwick play, the Browning version. Here also we get the character like Robert Browning's translation of his Greek tragedy Agamemnon about Aeschylus. Hope you have understood the play. If you like my video, do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.